Okay, right, Bismillah. Okay, folks, welcome back. Okay, now we're looking at some questions to do with rounding by significant figures. Clip 101, grade C. So let's have a look. We've got some questions already set up for us. Let's get started. Right. So we have 428. We need to round up this number to one significant figure. Your first significant figure is your first non-zero digit starting from the left-hand side. So Layla, looking at the left-hand side over here, is this our first significant figure? Yes. Okay. So this is our first significant figure. So that will be the second one, and that will be the third one. Okay, at the moment, we don't need to know about those at the moment. That's where we're going to start the question. So we put a little dotted line on here. Okay. And we get rid of this arrow for the moment. Now, so I'm going to introduce some new terminology now. So we have LD. LD stands for the last digit. Okay, it doesn't stand for the LD, the shop that people go shopping in. That's something completely different. Okay, and we have DE. D is short for the decider. Okay, and we have a rule that if the decider is greater than or equal to 5, we add 1 to the last digit. And if the decider is less than 5, we add nothing, or we do nothing. Okay, just copy down, or to keep it consistent, this plus 1, we just add nothing. Is one way of looking at it. Or what we say is copy the digits down. We'll show you in a second. We don't do it in rounding. Okay. Now, let's look back at this question. So, the last digit is the 4, which is the first significant figure. Okay. The next number is the decider digit. That tells us whether we should round it up or leave it alone. Okay. Some students like to put up add 0 because opposite add 1. In that case, for example, we add 1 for this one. For when it's not 5 or more, they like to put an add 0. I just like to say just copy the number down. Basically, we do nothing. So this 2 is less than 5. Yeah. So the decider here is less than 5. So we do nothing to the last digit apart from copy it down. Now, if this is the last digit, we have to stop here. But what do we do with the 2 gaps? Do we leave it with fresh air? Now 428 can in no sense of the imagination be rounded off to 4. That is just completely wrong. That's called butchering the mathematics. You can't just cut the number off. We have to round the number. So 428, when we stop at the last digit, we must fill the remaining gaps with zeros. So the 428 rounded off to one significant figure becomes 400. Okay, becomes 400. So the 2 gaps that we had after the last digit, we must fill it with zeros. Here comes the next question. So, Layla, will you start? On the left hand side. You look at this number, if it's not a 0, that's the first significant figure. So that's the first one. And that one has to be the, after the first one we have the second one. Okay, remember, the second significant figure is what the question is all about, 2 SF. So that becomes our last digit. And the next one becomes the, let's change color, back to our LD. And this one is the decider digit. Now, so Hassan, the decider, is it 5 or more? Is it less than 5?
Yeah.
So the rule says, we can either put a plus 0 here or just copy the digits down. Okay, just copy them down. Copy this down, copy that down. But we have to stop at the last digit. This 6 is the last digit. So we have 2 gaps. We can't say that 5,608 rounded off to 2 significant figures is 56. That's just wrong. So what do we do with the 2 gaps, Hassan? We fill them up with
zeros.
Okay, and don't forget, if we have some decimal part of the number, we do not go past the decimal point. We must stop here we stop at where the decimal point would normally be. You must stop there. Okay. So the next question, okay, is two significant figures, and we're gonna try that technique in there. Okay, ready for that? Okay, Leila, where do we start this next question? We always start on the right or left, or by the decimal point. We always start on the left. And we look for the first non-zero digit. Is that 0? No. It is a number bigger than 0, so that is going to be counted as our first significant figure. And we're looking for two significant figures, so that will be this one over here, 2SF. Okay, right, so give me one moment first, let's have a quick look at that question. Okay, right, sorry about that interruption, folks. So we said that the number 9 is the second significant figure. So let's put our little partition here. So this number, which is the second significant figure, Hassan, what do we call it? Do we call it the last digit or do we call it the decider?
The decider, last digit.
The last digit. And the next one is called the decider. So the last digit is the one that you're looking for. We're looking for 2SF, that's the last digit. 3SF, that's the last digit, and so on. So now the next one, Layla, this decider is 5. The rule goes if the decider is 5 or more, we add
1
to the last digit. And the last digit is number 9. What do we do to it?
Add 1.
So 9 add 1 is
10.
And 1 add 1 is 2. Now, how many gaps do we have now, Hassan? Remember, we have this number here, 1, 2, and then we have a decimal point. Right, so how many of those gaps are important?
4.
We have 4 gaps, but how many do we count?
2.
2. Okay, why do we count 2 only? Because we only fill up to the decimal point, not beyond it. So let's have a look. So we have 1, 2 gaps, so we're going to fill that with 0 and another 0. Okay, are we happy with that? Okay, folks? So here's the gaps here as well. Okay. Remember, we're only adding on this part over here, we're not adding over here. Okay. Get that? Yeah? So the addition parts on this part of here, the last digit only. So that gives us 20. We have 2 gaps up to the decimal point. You must stop at the decimal point there. These numbers, so we have nothing in these numbers here. You don't put any, you don't put 2000.00. If you did that, that would be absolutely wrong. We do not round significant figures like that. We must stop at the decimal point position, even regardless whatever numbers are there. Okay? We happy with that one? Okay, let's move on to the next question. Hassan, are we okay for video as a recording? Good. Okay, what we're going to do is, so these are the ones which involves like whole numbers and a little bit decimal number here. We're going to come back in the next video when we look at these questions here. Okay folks, thank you very much.